Every sunrise offers you something that money cannot buy, power cannot command, and yesterday cannot return. It offers you another chance, a new beginning, a clean page, a moment where your future has not yet been decided by your actions. Yet most people wake up as if nothing has changed. They repeat the same habits, think the same thoughts, make the same excuses, and then wonder why their lives remain exactly the same. Your morning is not just the beginning of your day, it is the architect of your future. The way you spend the first hour after waking up silently shapes the next 12. The way you think in the morning influences the decisions you make in the afternoon. The discipline you build before the world becomes loud determines how you respond when life becomes difficult. Success is rarely created by dramatic moments. It is built through ordinary mornings repeated with extraordinary consistency. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against other people. It is against your own habits. Every morning, comfort invites you to stay exactly where you are. It whispers that you deserve another few minutes of sleep, another hour of distraction, another excuse to postpone what matters. Comfort always speaks with a gentle voice because it never wants to reveal its true cost. It never tells you that every unnecessary delay slowly steals your confidence. It never tells you that every ignored responsibility becomes a heavier burden tomorrow. It never tells you that the life you dream about is waiting on the other side of decisions you continue to avoid. The person you become is not determined by your biggest achievements. It is determined by your smallest daily choices. Character is not built when life is easy. It is revealed when no one is watching, when there is no applause, and when the only reward for doing the right thing is becoming a stronger version of yourself. Every morning gives you an opportunity to practice this kind of discipline before the world asks anything from you. Wake up before the world demands your attention. Protect the silence that exists before notifications, conversations, deadlines, and responsibilities begin competing for your focus. Those quiet moments belong to you. Do not give them away so easily. The first thoughts you allow into your mind become the foundation of everything that follows. If your day begins with chaos, your mind becomes chaotic. If your day begins with intention, your actions become purposeful. Own your morning before someone else claims it. Strengthen your body because your mind lives inside it. Every step you take, every stretch you complete, every breath you control teaches your mind a lesson that words never could. When your muscles become stronger, your discipline grows with them. When your body learns to move through discomfort, your mind learns that challenges are not signals to quit, but invitations to grow. A strong body is not about appearance. It is about becoming someone whose actions are greater than their excuses. Train your mind through stillness. The loudest place many people will ever experience is not the outside world. It is their own thoughts. Endless worries about tomorrow, endless regrets about yesterday, endless conversations that never happened. Sit quietly and observe your mind without becoming controlled by it. Learn the difference between having thoughts and obeying them. A calm mind sees opportunities where an anxious mind sees obstacles. Clarity is born in silence, not in constant distraction. Before chasing your goals, decide who you want to become. Success without character is an empty victory. Wealth without integrity creates insecurity. Achievement without purpose leaves people searching for meaning long after reaching the destination they once believed would make them happy. Every morning ask yourself not only what you want to accomplish, but who you choose to be. Let your patience become stronger than your anger. Let your honesty become greater than your fear. Let your discipline become more powerful than your emotions. Your identity should lead your ambitions, never the other way around. Feed your mind with wisdom instead of noise. Every day, the world competes for your attention because attention has become one of the most valuable currencies in existence. Endless information surrounds you, but information alone does not create understanding. Be careful about what you allow into your mind, because every conversation, every book, every video, and every idea leaves a mark. Choose lessons that make you wiser instead of merely entertained. Choose conversations that challenge your thinking instead of feeding your negativity. A healthy mind grows from intentional learning, not endless consumption. Then face the hardest important task before anything else. Do not negotiate with fear. Do not wait for motivation to arrive. Action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. The task you continue to avoid, slowly, grows larger inside your imagination until it begins controlling your life. The moment you confront it, much of its power disappears. Every difficult task completed early becomes proof that you are capable of leading yourself instead of being led by hesitation. Confidence is earned through action, never through wishing. Understand that every morning is a quiet competition between two versions of yourself. One seeks comfort, certainty, and immediate pleasure. The other seeks growth, discipline, and lasting fulfillment. Both voices exist within you. The one that becomes stronger is the one you choose to feed. Your future does not depend on which voice speaks the loudest. It depends on which one you decide to follow. Do not wait for the perfect time, because perfection is another disguise worn by procrastination. Do not wait until life becomes easier, because every season of life carries its own challenges. Begin with what you have, where you are, and who you are today. Small actions performed consistently will always defeat grand intentions left unfinished. A single disciplined morning repeated for months can accomplish more than years of occasional inspiration. The world will always offer reasons to become distracted, discouraged, or comfortable. It will always present opportunities to postpone your growth until tomorrow. But tomorrow has a habit of becoming another tomorrow, and another after that, until years disappear while potential remains untouched. Time moves forward whether you prepare for it or not. The question is not whether another morning will come. The question is who you will become before it arrives. Your life is shaped long before the world notices your success. It is shaped in quiet mornings when you choose discipline over comfort, purpose over distraction, courage over fear, and wisdom over noise. Those invisible decisions become visible results. They build confidence that cannot be purchased, peace that cannot be stolen, and strength that cannot be shaken, because the greatest transformation never begins with changing the world around you. It begins with mastering the first moments of every single day before the world has the chance to tell you who you should be. Most people don't lose their day in the afternoon. They lose it within the first few minutes after opening their eyes. Before they even leave the bed, they reach for their phone, check notifications, read messages, scroll through social media, or immediately begin thinking about everything that demands their attention. In that moment, they unknowingly hand over control of their mind to the outside world. Instead of deciding how they will think, they allow other people, algorithms, news, and endless distractions to make that decision for them. There is a powerful difference between waking up because you choose to and waking up because life forces you to react. One creates clarity, the other creates chaos. When you begin your morning before the world starts making demands, you create space to hear your own thoughts. You remember that your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Once it is scattered. Bringing it back becomes difficult. Protecting it from the very beginning is an act of strength. The early morning has a unique quality that cannot be found later in the day. It is quieter, slower, and free from constant interruptions. There are fewer expectations and fewer voices competing for your focus. This silence is not empty. It is filled with possibility. It gives you an opportunity to connect with yourself before you connect with everyone else. In that silence, you can observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You can decide what truly matters instead of reacting to whatever appears in front of you. Many people believe they need more time to improve their lives. In reality, what they often need is ownership over the first hour of their day. Even 60 uninterrupted minutes can completely change your mindset. During that time, you can think clearly, breathe deeply, move your body, read something meaningful, or simply sit without distractions. These small actions may not look impressive to others, but they build an inner foundation that supports every decision you make afterward. Waking up early is not about proving that you can survive on less sleep or compete with someone else's routine. It is about creating distance between your mind and the constant pressure of the world. It is about choosing preparation over panic. When you rise with enough time to organize your thoughts, you stop feeling as though you are always trying to catch up. Instead of rushing into the day, you step into it with awareness and intention. Every morning presents the same question. Will you lead your mind, or will your mind be led by everything around you? The answer is found in your first choices. If the first thing you consume is noise, your thoughts become noisy. If the first thing you experience is calmness, your actions become more deliberate. Your morning creates momentum, and momentum is difficult to reverse. That is why the earliest decisions often become the strongest influences on the rest of the day. Discipline does not begin when life becomes difficult. It begins when no one is watching, when there is no applause, and when staying in bed feels more comfortable than getting up. Every time you choose to rise with purpose instead of comfort, you strengthen your ability to make better decisions throughout the day. You prove to yourself that your actions are guided by your values rather than your emotions. Over time, these quiet victories reshape your character. The greatest advantage of waking up before the world demands your attention is not that you accomplish more tasks. It is that you become less controlled by urgency and more connected to purpose. Your mind becomes clearer because it has not yet been filled with endless opinions and expectations. Your energy becomes steadier because it is directed instead of scattered. Your confidence grows because each morning begins with a choice that reinforces self-respect instead of distraction. The relationship between the body and the mind is far deeper than most people realize. Many people try to improve their focus, confidence, and emotional strength by changing only the way they think. They search for motivation, read inspiring books, and listen to powerful speeches, yet they ignore the physical condition of the body that carries the mind every single day. A weak body often makes the mind surrender more quickly to discomfort, while a disciplined body teaches the mind that challenges can be faced instead of avoided. Every movement you make is a conversation with yourself. When you choose to exercise even though you feel tired, you are telling your mind that comfort does not make your decisions. When your muscles begin to burn and your breathing becomes heavier, you are not simply training your body. You are teaching your mind to remain calm in the presence of discomfort. This lesson extends far beyond physical training. It becomes part of your character. The same determination that helps you complete one more repetition also helps you stay focused during difficult conversations. demanding work, and uncertain moments in life. Modern life has made comfort available at every moment. We sit for hours, move less than ever before, and expect our minds to remain energetic despite asking very little from our bodies. Over time, this constant comfort weakens more than physical strength. It weakens resilience. When the body becomes accustomed to avoiding effort, the mind begins to interpret every challenge as something negative. Even small obstacles start to feel overwhelming, because neither the body nor the mind has been trained to welcome resistance. Physical training changes this relationship with difficulty. Instead of seeing effort as something to avoid, you begin to recognize it as the path to growth. Every workout reminds you that progress requires temporary discomfort. You discover that your limits are often mental long before they are physical. There are moments when your body is capable of continuing, but your mind tells you to stop simply because continuing feels uncomfortable. Learning to recognize this difference gives you a powerful advantage in every area of life. Strength is not measured only by how much weight you can lift or how fast you can run. True strength is revealed by your consistency. Anyone can feel motivated for one day. Real discipline appears when motivation disappears and you continue anyway. Some mornings your body will feel heavy. Some days your energy will be lower than usual. Those are the moments that shape you the most. By choosing action over excuses, you train your mind to become dependable instead of emotional. Movement also has a profound effect on the quality of your thoughts. After physical exercise, your mind often feels clearer. Your emotions become more balanced, and your ability to concentrate improves. Stress loses some of its power because the tension stored inside the body begins to dissolve. Instead of carrying anxiety from one moment to the next, you create space for calmness and clarity. A healthy body becomes a stable foundation upon which a focused mind can operate. You do not need to become an athlete to experience these benefits. Simple habits practiced consistently are far more valuable than extreme efforts performed occasionally. A morning walk, mindful stretching, bodyweight exercises, or strength training done with intention can gradually transform both your physical condition and your mental resilience. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to build a daily relationship with effort. Every session becomes another reminder that growth comes from repeated action rather than occasional inspiration. As your body grows stronger, something subtle begins to change inside you. You stand differently. You breathe more deeply. Your posture reflects confidence before you even speak. Challenges no longer appear as threats, but as opportunities to practice what you have been building. You trust yourself because you have repeatedly proven that you can do difficult things. This confidence is not created by praise from others. It is earned through private moments of discipline, when you chose movement over laziness, effort over convenience, and commitment over comfort. In a world that constantly encourages movement, noise, and endless activity, stillness has become one of the rarest forms of strength. Many people believe they must always be doing something to make progress. They fill every empty moment with conversations, music, videos, notifications, or entertainment because silence feels unfamiliar. Yet the mind that is constantly occupied has little opportunity to understand itself. Without moments of stillness, your thoughts become reactions instead of conscious choices. Most people are not exhausted because they work too hard. They are exhausted because their minds never stop processing information. From the moment they wake up until they fall asleep, they consume opinions, news, messages, and endless streams of content. Every piece of information demands attention, and over time the mind becomes overloaded. When there is no pause between one thought and the next, clarity disappears. The mind becomes restless, jumping from one concern to another without ever finding peace. Stillness is not about escaping life. It is about learning to observe it without immediately reacting. When you sit quietly for even a few minutes, you begin to notice how active your mind really is. Thoughts appear without invitation. Some remind you of the past. Others create worries about the future. Many have no real purpose at all. They simply come and go. Most people spend their entire lives believing they must follow every thought that enters their mind. Stillness teaches a different lesson. It shows that you can observe your thoughts without becoming controlled by them. Imagine standing beside a river. Leaves float across the surface one after another. You notice them, but you do not jump into the water to catch every single one. Thoughts can be treated the same way. They arrive, they pass, and they disappear. The problem begins when you grab hold of every thought and allow it to pull you in different directions. This habit creates anxiety, frustration, and confusion. Through stillness, you slowly learn that not every thought deserves your attention. Training the mind requires patience because the mind naturally resists being still. The first few moments of silence often feel uncomfortable. Your attention wanders, your body becomes restless. You suddenly remember unfinished tasks or conversations from days ago. This is not failure. It is simply the mind revealing its habits. Every time you gently return your attention to your breathing or the present moment, you strengthen your ability to direct your focus. Just as lifting weights strengthens muscles, returning your attention strengthens mental discipline. A calm mind is not an empty mind. It is a mind that has learned not to be controlled by every emotion or distraction. Difficult situations still arise, stressful moments still happen. The difference is that you respond with awareness instead of impulse. Someone criticizes you, and instead of reacting immediately, you pause. A problem appears, and instead of panicking, you observe the situation with clarity. That brief space between the event and your response becomes one of your greatest sources of strength. Many people spend years trying to control everything around them while neglecting the one thing they truly can influence, their own attention. You cannot control the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, or unexpected events. You can, however, train your ability to remain steady regardless of what happens outside of you. Stillness develops this inner stability. It reminds you that peace is not created by perfect circumstances. It is created by a disciplined relationship with your own mind. The benefits of stillness extend into every part of life. Your decisions become more thoughtful because they are no longer rushed. Your relationships improve because you learn to listen instead of preparing your next response. Your work becomes more effective because your attention is no longer scattered across countless distractions. Even your creativity grows stronger because the mind finally has room to connect ideas that constant noise once interrupted. Every period of intentional silence becomes an investment in your future self. It teaches patience in a world that demands instant results. It develops focus in an environment designed to steal your attention. It replaces mental chaos with quiet confidence. Over time, you begin to realize that true power is not found in speaking the loudest, moving the fastest, or reacting the quickest. It is found in the ability to remain centered while everything around you continues to move, allowing wisdom to emerge naturally from a mind that has learned the value of silence and complete presence. Many people wake up every day with a list of goals they want to achieve. They want more money, a better career, improved health, stronger relationships, or greater success. There is nothing wrong with having ambitious goals. The The problem begins when those goals become the only thing guiding their actions. They spend years chasing achievements without ever asking a more important question. Who am I becoming while I pursue these goals? Goals determine where you want to go, but intention determines the person you choose to be along the way. It is possible to reach a destination and still feel empty, because success without intention often leaves people disconnected from themselves. They become so focused on the outcome that they forget the values that should shape their journey. They sacrifice their peace for productivity, their integrity for recognition, and their health for temporary rewards. By the time they finally achieve what they wanted, they realize they have become someone they no longer recognize. Intention protects you from this mistake because it reminds you that the quality of your character matters just as much as the results you produce. Every morning offers an opportunity to decide how you will show up in the world. Before thinking about meetings, responsibilities, deadlines, or expectations, pause for a moment and ask yourself a simple question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Perhaps you want to be patient, even when others become impatient. Perhaps you want to remain calm during stressful situations. Maybe you want to act with honesty, discipline, compassion, or courage regardless of what happens around you. These intentions create an internal direction that no external circumstance can easily change. Goals depend on conditions outside of your complete control. You may work hard and still face unexpected setbacks. You may prepare carefully and still experience failure. You cannot always control results because life contains uncertainty. Intention, however, is available to you in every moment. No one can stop you from choosing to respond with dignity instead of anger. No obstacle can prevent you from acting with integrity. This is why intention creates a sense of stability that goals alone cannot provide. When your intention is clear, your decisions become simpler. Instead of asking what is easiest or most profitable, you begin asking what aligns with the person you are committed to becoming. This shift changes everything. Difficult choices become opportunities to strengthen your principles rather than threats to your comfort. You stop chasing approval because your actions are guided by your values instead of other people's opinions. Every decision becomes an expression of your identity rather than a desperate attempt to gain recognition. There will always be distractions pulling you away from what truly matters. Society constantly encourages comparison. It tells you to measure your worth by achievements, possessions, titles, or the admiration of others. Without intention, it is easy to become trapped in this endless competition. You start living according to expectations that were never truly your own. You spend your energy climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. Intention reminds you to stay connected to your own path instead of becoming lost in someone else's definition of success. Your intention also shapes the way you experience challenges. If your only purpose is reaching a goal, every obstacle feels like an interruption. Frustration grows because anything that slows your progress seems like failure. But when your intention is to develop patience, resilience, wisdom, or discipline, every obstacle becomes part of your training. Difficult moments stop being enemies and become teachers. Instead of asking why something happened to you, you begin asking what this experience is preparing you to become. Living with intention requires daily awareness, because the world will continually try to pull your attention elsewhere. That is why setting your intention each morning is so powerful. Before the demands of the day begin, remind yourself of the qualities you want to embody. Carry them into every conversation, every decision, and every challenge. Let your actions reflect your deepest values rather than your passing emotions. Over time, your goals will no longer be separate from your character because every achievement will be built upon a foundation of purpose, integrity, mindfulness, and unwavering self-respect. Every day, your mind is being shaped by what you allow into it. Just as your body is influenced by the food you eat, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and decisions are influenced by the information you consume. Many people pay close attention to their physical diet while completely ignoring their mental diet. They carefully choose what they eat, yet they allow endless streams of meaningless content, negative conversations, sensational headlines, and constant distractions to occupy their minds. Over time, this invisible consumption becomes the foundation of the way they think and live. The modern world offers more information than any generation has ever experienced. Within minutes of waking up, you can read hundreds of opinions, watch countless videos, scroll through endless updates, and absorb stories from people you have never met. The challenge is no longer finding information. The challenge is protecting your attention from information that adds no real value. Not everything that captures your attention deserves a place in your mind. Every piece of content leaves a small impression, and those impressions gradually shape your character without you even noticing. Noise is anything that occupies your attention without improving your understanding. It often appears exciting because it is designed to stimulate emotion rather than encourage reflection. It makes you react instead of think. It fills your mind with comparison, fear, outrage, or temporary entertainment, leaving little room for clarity or wisdom. Hours can disappear while consuming content that offers momentary pleasure, but leaves you mentally exhausted. At the end of the day, you may realize you have learned very little despite spending so much time receiving information. Wisdom is different. Wisdom does not overwhelm you with endless facts. It teaches you how to see clearly. It encourages deeper understanding instead of quick reactions. It often arrives quietly through thoughtful books, meaningful conversations, careful observation, and personal reflection. Wisdom asks difficult questions instead of offering instant answers. It challenges your assumptions and helps you become more patient, compassionate, disciplined, and aware. While noise competes for your attention, wisdom earns your respect through its lasting influence. Every morning presents an important choice. Before allowing the world to fill your mind with its demands, choose something that strengthens your perspective. Read a few pages from a timeless book. Listen to thoughtful ideas that encourage growth rather than anxiety. Spend time reflecting on principles that help you become a wiser and more balanced person. Even a few minutes of meaningful learning can influence the way you approach every decision throughout the day. The first ideas you feed your mind often become the lens through which you interpret everything that follows. The people you listen to also become part of your mental environment. Every conversation has the power to either expand your understanding or reinforce confusion. Surrounding yourself with people who value honesty, responsibility, humility, and continuous learning gradually strengthens those same qualities within you. In contrast, constant exposure to negativity, gossip, complaints, and cynicism slowly shapes your thinking in ways that are difficult to recognize. The voices you hear most often eventually become the voice inside your own mind. Silence also plays an important role in developing wisdom. Learning is not only about receiving new information. It is also about creating space to understand what you have already learned. Many people consume so much content that they never allow themselves time to reflect. Their minds become crowded with ideas they have never truly examined. Reflection transforms information into understanding. Without reflection, knowledge remains shallow. With reflection, even a simple lesson can become a lifelong source of guidance. Protecting your mind requires discipline because the world constantly competes for your attention. Companies invest enormous effort into keeping you engaged for as long as possible. Their success often depends on your inability to look away. If you do not consciously choose what enters your mind, someone else will make that choice for you. Your attention is valuable, and where you place it determines the direction of your thoughts, habits, and ultimately your life. A wise person is not someone who knows everything. Wisdom belongs to those who recognize the difference between what is merely interesting and what is genuinely meaningful. They understand that every moment spent consuming empty distractions is a moment not invested in personal growth. They become intentional about the books they read, the conversations they have, the ideas they explore, and the lessons they carry forward. Little by little, their minds become calmer, their judgment becomes clearer, and their actions begin to reflect the quiet strength that comes from choosing understanding over distraction, depth over entertainment, and truth over endless noise. Every morning presents you with a choice that quietly shapes the rest of your day. You can begin with the tasks that are easy, familiar, and comfortable, or you can face the one responsibility that demands the most focus, courage, and effort. Most people naturally avoid what feels difficult. They answer unnecessary messages, organize small details, check emails repeatedly, or spend time on activities that create the illusion of productivity. These actions may keep them busy, but being busy is not the same as making meaningful progress. The hardest important task is usually the one that carries the greatest potential to improve your life. It is often the project you have been postponing, the conversation you have been avoiding, the skill you need to develop, or the decision that requires honesty and courage. Because it matters, it also demands your best energy. If you delay it until later in the day, you slowly allow distractions, fatigue, and unexpected responsibilities to reduce your ability to perform at your highest level. What could have been completed with clarity in the morning often becomes another unfinished burden carried into tomorrow. Your mind has a limited amount of focused energy each day. Every decision you make, every distraction you entertain, and every unnecessary choice gradually drains that energy. This is why the beginning of the day is so valuable. Your attention is sharper, your willpower is stronger, and your ability to think clearly is at its highest. Instead of spending these valuable mental resources on minor tasks, direct them toward the work that truly deserves them. Important work should receive your strongest mind, not the energy that remains after everything else has taken its share. There is another reason why completing the hardest task first is so powerful. It changes your relationship with fear. Avoidance gives fear room to grow. Every hour you postpone an important responsibility, your imagination often makes it appear larger and more intimidating than it actually is. You begin thinking about everything that could go wrong. Doubt replaces confidence, and hesitation becomes a habit. The task itself may not have changed, but your resistance toward it becomes stronger with every delay. Action breaks this cycle. The moment you begin working on what you have been avoiding, much of the fear begins to disappear. You realize that the obstacle was never as overwhelming as your mind imagined. Progress creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Every small step forward reminds you that courage is not the absence of discomfort. Courage is the decision to move despite feeling uncomfortable. Many people wait until they feel motivated before starting difficult work. They believe inspiration must come first, and action will naturally follow. In reality, the opposite is often true. Motivation grows after you begin. The first few minutes are usually the hardest because they require overcoming resistance. Once you become fully engaged, your concentration deepens, distractions fade, and the work itself starts generating energy. Waiting for perfect motivation often leads to endless procrastination, while taking immediate action creates the motivation you were hoping to find. Completing your most important task early also influences the rest of your day in unexpected ways. Instead of carrying the weight of unfinished work in the back of your mind, you experience a sense of accomplishment that improves your focus and emotional state. The remaining responsibilities no longer feel overwhelming because the greatest challenge has already been faced. Confidence replaces anxiety, and your attention becomes available for the next meaningful step instead of being trapped by what you continue to avoid. This habit is not about becoming obsessed with productivity or constantly working without rest. It is about respecting your time and directing your best energy toward what truly matters. Every meaningful achievement is built through consistent decisions rather than occasional bursts of effort. By repeatedly choosing the most valuable task over the most comfortable one, you strengthen your discipline day after day. You teach yourself that comfort will not determine your priorities, and that your future deserves more than temporary convenience. Each morning becomes another opportunity to prove that your actions are guided by purpose instead of impulse, by commitment instead of excuses, and by the quiet confidence that comes from facing what matters before anything else competes for your attention.